In this video, we're going to be looking at equivalent ratios. So a ratio is a way of comparing two quantities, the proportions really of these two quantities, and often actually it's more than two, but in these first simple cases we're just going to look at two things. So the first example is yellow circles and green circles, and you should be able to see by eye that there are 6 yellow circles and 4 green circles. So we could write the relationship between the numbers as yellow to green is 6 to 4. However, we're not really interested in the numerical values. What we're interested really in seeing is how many yellows there are for how many greens there are. And if we quickly move these around, we can see that for every 3 yellows, there are 2 greens. So quite simply, the ratio can be written as 3 to 2. Now that's called the simplest way of writing it. They're both whole numbers. Another way of writing it though is to say, well, how many greens do we have for every 1 yellow? And that would be, well, a 2/3 of a green. And we'll look at how to get that in just a moment. So let's look at simplifying first. So just like in the previous example, we look at the two numbers and we divide by a common factor. So a 7 to 14 relationship, well, they both divide by 7. So if I do that division, I'm going to have 7 divided by 7 is 1, and 14 divided by 7 is 2. So this can be written as 1 to 2. 15 and 25 both divide by 5. So if I do that division, I'm going to have 3 to 5. And 10 and 4 both divide by 2, so if I do that, I'm going to have a 5 to 2 relationship, and we can't go any further with any of these examples. Those are the simplified version of the ratios. Okay, so moving on to the next one. We've got ratios in the form 1 to n this time. So this means the number on the left has to be 1. So if I start off with 3 to 12, I know I'm going to need to divide by 3 to get that 1 on the left hand side. Doing the same thing to the 12 gives me 4, so it's 1 to 4. In the next example, I'm going to need to divide both the numbers by 5, because that way I'm going to have a 1 on the left hand side. So if I do 6 divided by 5, of course I'm just going to get 6 of a 5, or I might prefer to write that as 1 and a 5th. If you wanted to just do 6 divided by 5 on your calculator, that's absolutely fine as well. We could write that as 1 to 1.2. Finally, we've got 10 to 42. Well, if I want to have a 1, then I'm going to need to divide that 10 by 10, of course. So I'm going to have 1 on the left, and 42 divided by 10 is, of course, just 4.2. So I can leave my answer just like that. Now, a harder question now. We've got a map scale. Map scales are always written in the form 1 to n or n to 1. This one's 1 to 20,000. So what actual distance does a length of 8 centimetres on the map represent? Well, 8 centimetres on the map is sort of the left-hand side. So if we want to work out what that is in real life, we'll need to do 8 multiplied by 20,000. So if I do that, I'm going to get 160,000, so 160,000. But of course, that's in centimetres. Now we don't want to give our answer in centimetres for a real life distance on a map. We need to convert that. Now if we know that there are 100 centimetres in 1 metre, then if we divide it by 100, we're going to have our answer in metres. So we'll do that, divide by 100, and this is equivalent to 1,600 metres. We can carry on even further though, because we also know that there are 1,000 metres in 1 kilometre. So if I then divide by 1,000, I'm going to have 1.6 kilometres, and that's probably the best answer we can get. Okay, that should be all you need to complete the exercise. Good luck.